to my journey. I did it. Okay, it's a done deal. No takesy backsies. It's done. It's over with. I'm so glad that I got to that point and that I'm now on the healing side of things. I did want to give you, before we start talking about anything else, is since my surgery was Tuesday, I had the gastric bypass. My official weigh-in, I gave y'all a weigh-in on Monday, so you know where I was starting. But my official one was for Tuesday. That I weighed before I went to the hospital. I weighed 306.4. So for week 2, that means I lost 10.4 pounds, and added to week 1 of 18.8 pounds, put me at 29.2 pounds lost for my 2-week pre-op diet. Now, if that would be something possible that you could sustain and you could lose your weight doing that, you wouldn't have to have weight loss surgery, but it is not sustainable. It is not something that diet is not something that you have to, that you can maintain. It's just not. It was a very, very difficult 2 weeks. That puts me to what I lost on my own before getting this tool, 70.7 pounds. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that 70 pounds. No matter how long it took me to do it, I did it. And I'm not going to say, oh, I did 70 pounds on my own, and then whatever I lose from here on out is not on my own, but it is on my own. I'm just having a tool to help me eat what I could eat or not eat so much. I'll see how it plays out as I go more into post-op phases. Right now, and I'm out of breath just because I am, and it still has these gas pains that built up. You know, any time of abdomen surgery you have, they're going to blow your stomach out, your cavity. And the doctor was explaining to me how, like, the pains he explained it to me how it went up, and the pains went up into your shoulders. And that's the hardest part that I'm having to get rid of. My little incisions. I have 6 incisions. I got 2 down here that I've got a blue spot, purple spot, yellow spot this big around, like this one big fat chunk of my belly, and the 6 incisions all around. They did have to do the hernia repair, and he told David it was a pretty big one. So you got that. That adds a little bit to the recovery. You know, that if you were just having a gastric bypass, that you wouldn't have to go through that. But I think it's common. I think hiatal hernias are common in overweight people, from what I read. So if you had to have one repaired, I wouldn't be shocked. You know, if you went through the process and they said you had to have one. I'm drinking. I'm not having my coffee. Obviously, we can't sit here and drink coffee like that, at least not for a good while. But I am having to try to get my protein drinks in. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I made me a vanilla with a little bit of the pumpkin pie flex pack from Devotion Nutrition, and it's pretty good. I have drunk so many things these past 3 days. Nothing tastes good. Trust me. I'm struggling. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll go through the surgery. So, what you expect for gastric bypass or any of the weight loss surgeries, I would think would be the exact same things that happen if you were going through any other type of surgery. You go back into your surgery pre-op, and they get you all ready, and you know they do all your vitals, and you have to put the compression hose that they had to put on. David had to put them on me. I wasn't strong enough to hold them with my hands and pull them things up, so he had to put them on and put the socks on, and then you have to clean your body, even though you wash with stuff before you go, and they give you more wipes to wash down more. They really take precautions for bacteria and things. And so we did that, and then the anesthesiologist, she came in and she did like an ultrasound on my vein because I have very small veins, and she said that would help her pick a good one to put the IV in. And she did a little, which I've never had them do before, but the last surgery I had was in the year 2000 when I had my gallbladder out, so I'm sure things have changed in 22 years. She did a little numbing shot before she put the IV in, which I don't necessarily know if it was needed or not. I've had IVs, but if they think it helped, then I'm, happy to have had it. When I come out, this is the only one they put in while I was awake. And when I come out, I had another one in over here. And I had this nice bruise here where they, I guess, drew blood or tried to do something. I got some bruising over here. I got some more bruising on my arm. You come out of surgery with all kind of bruises. That's with any kind of surgery you're going to be in. So David said I was back there about 6.5 hours. Part of that was surgery, and part of that was recovery before I got back into the room with him. And I do remember coming in, and it's like the lights were off in my mind. The lights were all off, and they were saying something about David. I'm like, oh, David's here? It was just... the pains up in here are what got me. Not so much the gas pain that you let out your butt. You know those. These were the gas pains that built up all in around here that the nurse said has to just dissipate out. Those are not the kind that you can expel out on your own. They just have to dissipate. And I think the paperwork says they can go away in by 72 hours. They should be gone. I'm not having a lot of discomfort in my stomach. Well, I'm not hurting in my stomach. I'm having discomfort in my stomach. My stomach is not comfortable from all those incisions and all that poking and prodding and carrying on that they did. I'm not comfortable, but I'm not in pain. And they do not send you home with pain medication. You get Tylenol. And the doctor told me, the intern come in, he said, Tylenol, if you take smaller doses around the clock, helps better with surgery than if we give you a pain medication. And they said a lot of times the pain medications will cause constipation, and you have that after a lot of surgeries like this anyway. You have that kind of trouble, so they tell you to make sure and get some Miralax and have that on hand in case you need trouble, in case you have trouble in that area. So I have that in case I need it. And then yesterday I was doing good enough to sit up in the chair because I sleep in the chair at home, and hospital beds are not the most comfortable beds on the planet. So I sat up in the chair for a good while, and it didn't bother me. But I think when I got back to my bed, and then the second time I went to the chair, it was really hurting me in my back and all in my shoulders and everything. And I think the difference was the first time I had the relaxing of the pain medication, and the second time I didn't, so I wasn't relaxed, and I could tell the difference. So I got back in the bed, but you're tethered to the bed because you got those things that wrap on your legs that pump the air to try to prevent blood clots. Speaking of, I have to do those Levinox shots in your stomach 2 a day for 2 weeks. And she gave me my first one that night, and I'm like, okay, nope. They said, oh, it's a small needle, you can do it. Nope, can't do it. The nurse the next day gave me mine. They're supposed to be 12 hours apart. And he was giving it to me, and he says, if you need to know how to do it, I said, nope, don't want to know how to do it. Ain't going to do it. I'm going to have to find somebody to do it for me. And if I told my friend, I found a friend I went to school with. I graduated high school with her, and I was in her first wedding, as a matter of fact. She told me, she said, I'll do anything for you. And that's all y'all that are on my Facebook friends that even offered that if you were here, you would do it. My daughter even said, she goes, that was so overwhelming. I'm like, I have been so overwhelmed with so much love and support from y'all in all kind of ways that you have been contacting me. And I thought, well, I told David I need to come on here and at least give you an update and let you see that I am here. I made it through. And anyway, but that nurse, he said he can give them to people. He said, but if he was in the same position, he wouldn't be able to give them to himself. He'd have to find somebody. So she's going to come. And I told her I'd come to her. She said, no, you don't need to be traveling. She's a nurse. She said, I'll come to you in the morning before I go to work, and I'll come to you when I get off of work. So I'll get them today. They were on back order, the injections. And she'll start giving them to me tonight. And I'm so thankful and blessed to have found her. Hold on, I got to get good at my dividing out my sipping so I can get in enough fluids. I got enough in while I was in the hospital because you're on IV, so you're getting your fluids. You're not getting it through drinking. Trust me, you're not going to get enough fluids through drinking to pee as much as they want you to pee. You have to pee so many milliliters per hours, how many hours, time. And they said I made that. I didn't have any problems in that department. Good, thank goodness. But nothing tastes good. Nothing. The best thing that I have had was some strained out chicken noodle broth, Campbell's chicken noodle soup. David went to the store. We got home from the hospital yesterday. We got home late afternoon. And he went to the store because he needed groceries for him. And I needed a few things. So he strained out the noodles and I drank the broth. And it was so flavorful. It was like the best thing that I've had the whole time. What I've been trying now is a bunch of different clear protein drinks. And I've not found one yet that I like. There he was. Did you see my man? He's all taken care of. Y'all want to know him being here. He's here. He's anything I need. He's on it. He is on the case. He is taking care of me. I told him, I said, you've gone to the store. You've got my food. I said, I'm settled in. I can get what I need to eat. I have nothing else that I have to do. He's put heavy stuff for me already. And so I said, just go out and play in your building. I said, you got a vacation days you're using up. Go out there and play. You don't need to sit here and watch me. I'm going to go back here and film anyway. So this, and the doctor said to get these 60 grams of protein in. And after trying all those clear protein drinks, they all taste like this medicine I have to take. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with an S. It's a liquid you take 4 times a day for 7 days, and it's to cut your stomach, to help your stomach from, I don't know the exact, when you're in the hospital and you come out of anesthesia and you're groggy, even if it's the whole next day, you still don't exactly know everything they're telling you. You just know, okay, you do it. So you do it. It's gross. It's gross. But at least it's only 10 milliliters at a time, so you can knock it back and rinse it back with some water and you're good to go, but it's not good going down. But it kind of tastes like what some of these protein clear drinks tasted like. So I told David, I said, you got a lot of drinks to drink because I am not drinking them. And here's another thing I have found. I read on the Facebook group that I'm in for our health system, just our little area of bariatric surgeries. So many people say, oh, don't worry about it. When you come out of surgery, you're not even going to be hungry. You won't want anything. Honey, I come out starving. I was in my room that night starving to death. I'm hungry right now. I don't like cheeseburgers. I like hamburgers, but I would tear up a cheeseburger. Now my stomach would kill me. I could never, there's no, the capacity is not there to eat a cheeseburger. The capacity is there to eat a meatball maybe, but food comes later. I've got a hard 2 weeks ahead of me. The previous 2 weeks, the pre-op, is not hard compared to what I'm fixing to have to do. What I'm fixing to have to do is 2 weeks of just liquid. But that liquid can be these milk-based protein powders, or protein drinks, your clear protein drinks, water, of course. You can also strain soups as long as there's no chunks in them. Like I had the broth from the chicken noodle soup. You can strain. Excuse me, I do have some air coming out here, so excuse me for that. Some cream-based soups, as long as you strain any, like if it's cream of mushroom, if you strain any of the mushrooms out of it, you can do that. So I had David, I said, when he went to the store, I said, get me a clam chowder soup because I can strain all that out and just eat the creamy part. That is acceptable on this first 2 weeks. So there are options. The most important thing you have to do is to get in your protein, and that's the worst tasting thing. Anything that tastes good is going to be your secondary fluid, your main fluid, which, see, I'm sitting here talking and I need to be sipping. Sip, sipping. I can drink up to I don't like it, but I got to like some of it. I got to drink it, like it or lump it, because I got to have it. I mean, I got to have it. That's the only way I'm gonna get my protein in. I definitely like it better than the clear ones. You can drink up to 1 to 2 ounces every 15 minutes, so like up to 8 ounces in an hour. When you're just sipping, you kind of forget sometimes that you're constantly drinking, because you're not taking guzzles, you're not taking big drinks, you're just constantly sipping on something. It's kind of hard to remember. Another thing that I had a hard time with this morning was putting together my medicine, because I take a whole lot of medicine, and my first dose of the morning is a whole handful. I mean, just, and so, me and the doctor were talking about that. He goes, spread your medicines out throughout the day. So I've got 4, 5, 6 times to take medicine during the day, and I've got to remember I'm starting at 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever, up until nighttime, how many ever I get those 6 doses in. You have to make sure that your calcium is taken 4 hours apart from your iron, which that is when I take my multivitamin. So I have to take those separately. And then other medicines that I take, 2 a day, some I need to take in the morning and some at night. Well, some might have to be adjusted, maybe not the first morning dose, but the second morning dose. So these are some things that I'm going to have to be playing with. It was kind of a puzzle putting all that medicine together this morning, because I didn't have to take any of that while I was in the hospital, and I didn't put it together before I left because I didn't know what he would tell me that I didn't have to take. There was one diabetes medicine that he said I can lay off of right now, and hopefully when I go back and see him next week, I would love him to say stop taking the other one. I would love it. There's two more pills to quit taking, and then my B complex and my potassium, those are included now in my one bariatric multivitamin, so I don't have to take those extra pills. So, I mean, I have a lot of pills to take. The thing about now that we're post-op, we will be taking the vitamins and the calcium the rest of our life. So that is something that you have to consider when you think you want to go through a weight loss surgery. You have to consider is being able to afford your vitamins for the rest of your life. Is that something that you're going to be able to do? Some of them are not cheap. Depending on where you can get it, you can get them decently priced. Those are the ones I picked, were the decently priced ones. I didn't go for the expensive stuff. No, if they were all okayed on the list, then I wasn't going to spend more just to say I spent more. And also, when you look at the amount of food you're going to save that you're not going to be eating, then that'll make up for vitamin spending. So I'm trying to think. Oh, he does want me to walk an hour a day. Y'all know that ain't gonna happen. I told him, I'm like, no. Oh, Tracy, I left my squishmallow in yonder. I don't have it in my stomach, so I can't start laughing. I'm doing good getting this breathing going on. But what I'm going to do is, as soon as I can get cleared to go in the pool, I think I'm going to go ahead and join the Y again. Now, the kids are going back to school, so I don't have to fight over summer camp, because that is hard to try to go in there and swim with kids everywhere. It really is. And especially when you're not steady on your feet, And so I think probably next week sometime I will rejoin the Y. That way I can at least get in some good exercise. And it will be better for my legs to tone them up. I think the toner I could have my legs before I get a knee surgery could only be better. It could only benefit me if I tried to boost the strength of my legs. And water is a perfect way to do that. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It's just your basic surgery procedures. You're in the hospital, you have the surgery, you go in recovery. They wake you up all morning, noon, and night, poking you and prodding you and giving you pills and stuff to drink. And then eventually the doctor comes in and says, "You're free. I'm letting you go home. Go away." I'm like, "I love you." And so I see him next week for my first post-op. And then I think about 4 days after that, I see the nutritionist to talk about, it'll be the class for what's coming up in the soft and pureed food section. And I don't know that I'll have a lot to show you. I am, when I get my little groove going, figure out my best things I do like to drink, and that I can and make it as palatable as possible. I mean, it's 2 weeks of 24 hours a day, nothing but liquids. You do want to make it as palatable and as enjoyable as you can. I mean, it's still, whether you enjoy it or not, you got to do it. Like this. Let me sip. Every sip, it will be that face. Just picture me today doing every 15 minutes till I get this cup of. I had to mix it with some almond milk to stretch it out so I could get that flavor down. They do say, and I have witnessed it, even though I'm hungry for food, I don't know if food would taste the same as it does in my mind. In my mind, it still tastes good. These drinks, the way that this one I drank before, I drank it on my 2-week pre-op, and I didn't have a problem with it at all. And I'm struggling to get it down today. So yes, your taste will change after you have that surgery. I don't understand the workings of it. I don't understand the science behind it, but it's just, excuse me, there's some more of that air. Excuse me. And I tell you, this is if this up in here across these shoulder blades and this clavicle or whatever, if all this in here would go away, I think I would feel so much better than I do. But anyway, I think that's all I know. I don't have any more, nothing more detailed to say about it, other than I got through the surgery, and here I am, as Barney Fife would say, here I am. So I will show you, like I said, when I get settled into what I'm going to eat for these what I'm going to drink for these 2 weeks. Maybe I'll bring you along for a day or two of what I drink in a day on, whatever day post-op it is, and then definitely show you the food that I eat when I'm on soft and pureed foods. I'll show you some of the things David got for me to try to get me through. And so that is all. I just want to come over here and give y'all I guess it's a quick update. When I talk to y'all, right down here is the counter. I never look at it because I don't want to know how long I'm talking, because then it's either going to get me off kilter or I don't know. So I don't even look at it. I don't know how long we've been talking, but I did want to give you an update because there's so many of you that have been, requested to know how I was doing, making sure I got home and got through the surgery safely. And I did. I got through the surgery very safely, and I'm doing really well. Just have to work through the physical part of it. That's anybody, no matter what kind of surgery you have to go through the physical part of healing. So now I'm wanting my healing to start, because this new journey, it has begun. Like I said, no takesies backsies. It's a done deal. I lay there. One of our running jokes is when we want to do something and then it didn't turn out like, we planned it to. We're like, whose idea was that? We make a big joke out of it. So I was over there that night, and Dave was over on the window seat, and I was laying in the bed, and I said, whose idea was this? He just starts laughing. It's like, I heard you. I heard you. So, anyway, well, that's it. That's all I know. I'll be back for something. So how about I'll just see you when I see you, and thank you for all your love and support and prayers and concern. It really does touch me. It means a lot to me, and I love y'all. And I'll see you in my next video.